And then Monday the 27th, we have Sunny Z. On the 28th, we have David Mercury. On the 29th, we have Peter Olizando. And then on June 5th, we have Joe Bravo. So I think we're done putting ourselves over. So let's get into it. It's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it was not so great week for the Viking Raiders as Ivar. It was reported that Ivar was seriously injured and would not be able to return for the foreseeable future. Um, what happened there? Because it seemed like he was getting such a good push. They were giving him a proper singles run, and then everything just kind of died down.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a big guy, and the way that he moves, it's kind of like a risk in itself, right?
True.
Um, and and that's, I think, the biggest key. Some of the moves he didn't do, like there were spot moves, but um, from what he said, it's serious, and he hasn't had surgery, so he's trying to figure it out. So he's trying to think of whether he's going to deal with the pain or have the surgery to have it healed. And he seems the type of person that would do like the natural healing version before he goes under the knife, right?
Right.
So it's going to be one of those things where he's going to have to, how can I put it? Like Vader and Bam Bam, they wrestled big. They were mobile, but they wrestled big more than they were mobile, right?
Right.
And it seems like, and I'm not saying that he's guilty of this, but it just seems like he needs to be more power-minded than agile-minded, if that makes sense.
I get that. But this seems
Like he needs to wrestle more to his suited strength, and it's but I give him the caveat that he's wrestling single, in which he would be an anchor to his tag partner.
And that's another question. Um, you know, um, I'll just call him Olaf, the other member of the Viking Raiders. Neck fusion surgery. Out for the foreseeable future. Valhalla injured with pregnancy. It just seems like it was just not the right timing for the Viking Raiders. Do you see that it could potentially, they could potentially come back and have a run, or is it just about time to shut the door on them?
I wouldn't say shut the door, but only reason I would say shut the door is because of the fact that they essentially took the tag belts and split it, so they're gonna need tag teams. The biggest thing is for them to get healthy, more so than anything.
Well,
And once they get healthy, then we can see their place. Because now with the belts being split, no need to,
well, we shall see.
no need to do anything.
Well, the injuries just keep on rolling. Especially when it came to the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Bobby Lashley, Zelina Vega, Asuka, Drew McIntyre, all injured. With I don't want to say there's any timetable, but it is kind of like this is like AEW level injury list at this point. Um, Asuka already said that her knee was pretty bad and she kind of got through things. Nothing, nothing that happened instantaneously, just, wear and tear. Uh, is it just like bad timing that all these injuries happened all at the same time?
It would be bad timing if it were that was it on the roster. That's why they keep a stacked roster. So they could go without missing a beat. Because keep in mind, you can make the argument that WWE is, and people are going to say this, WWE is on a high point right now. And look at the list of people who are out. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Asuka, Bobby Lashley. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So they're able to plug and play. And considering that they have this, it's not like they're placating to one story. They're creating multiverses in which everybody kind of deals with each other based on the choices that they make. Kind of like WWE story mode, in a sense. So, if someone does come back, they'll actually come back to something they could sink their teeth into if they are prevalent.
Well, obviously,
and if they're not,
yep.
And if they're not prevalent, then them coming back and making a big change is probably overdue.
Asuka is going to go back to Damage Control. Bobby Lashley didn't necessarily have a storyline going on at the moment.
No, because he just got over the Pride story or the
Testament.
The Testament storyline.
Yeah. So it's kind of like wait and see at this point. So with him, there wasn't anything for him to do per se, and I guess Selena will go back to the LWO, but she's kind of due for a revamp as well, I would say.
Depends. Because I don't. Honestly, the best thing they should have did was her highest moment so far was the Puerto Rico match and her getting back with Ida Love.
Is Andrade a part of the LWO? I think so.
That is a great. He kind of jumped in and Carlito dipped out. So
yeah. Keeping up on the women. Tiffany Straton is in some hot water.
I wouldn't say hot water.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know, she published a video, I believe on Instagram, of her knocking Jade Cargill off the ring apron. That wasn't the controversial spot. The controversial spot was that it was to an audio bite of somebody yelling, black bitch. Which prompted people to call Tiffany Straton a racist. Is Tiffany Straton a racist? Kaliko?
It's hard to take one item out of context and label somebody a racist. It have to be a pattern.
Right.
From what I've read, the WWE execs their opinions of her have not changed, and nor should they, because she's going to get the benefit of the doubt. Once it's a mishap, twice is a pattern.
So No, it's
And I don't think. Now here's the thing: was it her saying "black bitch"?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't just an
And
audio
that's the problem, because you can't sit there and say she's now prime. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to go there. You know the whole Diddy Cassie thing?
No.
Okay, so Cassie sued Diddy for assault, and she ended up selling out a case for $500 million. Everybody thought that Cassie was lying and Diddy was on some other shit, and they gave him the benefit of the doubt, as you should, considering the fact that there's nothing there yet. But then a video just got leaked of Diddy hopping out of his hotel room with his boxers on and smacking Cassie upside the head and dragging her. Now your information has changed because of the fact that now you see and can correlate that person with that behavior. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got you.
And it's like we're trying to correlate someone's behavior with something that is not, it'd be one thing if it was her saying black bitch, but if it's just an audio, you really can't go. I mean,
I got you.
Right, so I wouldn't just be trying to rake somebody, because at this point, we're in this era of gotcha.
Yeah.
And we can't be like that. So, as far as I'm concerned, the execs don't see anything wrong with it. You can be skeptical, and you could take it with a grain of salt, but you can't just go, oh, she's a racist. Because everyone kind of overuses the term racist anyway, which is crazy to me, because most people don't think racist is like you just hate people. No, racist is when someone thinks that they're better than someone just because of that race, just because they are that thing. Has nothing to do with, now, bigotry, stereotypical, I could see your argument, but that's a whole other thing for a history class. In other words, give her the context until proven otherwise.
Like you said, it was just a kind of out of character, out of context thing. Maybe she didn't notice, or maybe she didn't think it was as big of a deal. But it's Twitter, and Twitter is always quick to be judge, jury, and executioner, and as fast as you can say judge, jury, and executioner. So yeah. And I mean,
prime example, if that was Jay Cargill and she went white bitch, would anybody give it a blind eye?
Exactly. But that's another conversation for a completely different show.
Yeah, it is. That's a totally different.
If I would call Tiffany Straton racist for anything, I would say that it was because she was dating Ludwig Kaiser. That makes her racist, but that's just my opinion.
Damn. What did Ludwig do to you? He took Tiffy time.
That he did. And the company he keeps, and the way he walks. On a different note, we're talking about current WWE, classic WWE. Jesse Ventura has popped back up and is in talks with WWE to possibly have a Legends deal. That's kind of a big deal, right? If we actually get Jesse the Body Ventura back.
Triple H out here like working Make-A-Wishes out here. What the fuck? dude out here working conversations.
Yes.
It's crazy how many legends are came back and or left since then left.
Right. And I mean, it is interesting because he said the deciding factor of him talking with WWE is because Vince McMahon is no longer there, which is kind of interesting to hear, considering how closely Vince McMahon worked with Jesse. Obviously they did commentary together for all those years.
But I think Jesse was the guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was responsible for for people getting royalties on like VHSs and shit.
The union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just about
it makes sense.
Is Jesse in the Hall of Fame?
He should be. I would think he is. I don't think they would leave someone like that. A guy who went on to become governor too.
I mean, they left Muhammad Ali for 40 years.
I mean, he made it, and for the record, yes, he is. He made the Hall of Fame in 2004.
Okay, there you go. So I mean, it's not like he needs a Hall of Fame induction. But,
Right.
I mean, it'd still be cool to have a legend from that time back in WWE. And Jesse makes waves. You can call him somewhat of a past CM Punk to some degree.
Boy, now you smoking crack.
Says what he wants to say, disrupts
Stick.
the system. Just he has the political backing that Punk maybe didn't have.
Well, of course he would. He's a former goddamn governor.
My point exactly. And he found the aliens in Area 51 too.
Oh, God, help us.
And all honesty, do you think that something is actually going to come of these talks? Do you think he's actually going to sign on the dotted line, or do you think things are going to fall through considering who he is?
I don't think it's about who he is. Everything is about timing. And one, what would his purpose be? And two, what would he be able to offer?
I mean, considering the last time he... Yeah.
I mean, considering the fact that is there a clamoring for JC the Body Ventura?
Probably not, but... Again, it's kind of... The last time he was in WWE, he gave Sheamus the #1 contenders match that gave him his first ever world championship. I think people sometimes forget that.
Damn, I totally forgot about that too.
Yeah. Keeping up on WWE news, it's not necessarily confirmed or said out loud yet, but it was kind of confirmed that WWE PLEs will be returning to Sundays rather than Saturdays. Dana White did a interview and said something's happening on Fridays, and then UFC is going to be on Saturdays, and then WWE is going to be on Sundays. how do you feel about that? Did you prefer the Saturday PLEs or do you like Sunday PLEs?
Fuck that! I love the Saturday PLEs. What the fuck is he doing?
Oh well, the Saturdays belong to UFC now.
No, they don't.
Well,
No, they don't, because they're serving ESPN. But it really don't matter. They're not the judge, boss, and jury of this. And me personally thinking, Saturdays to me, maybe because I'm jealous, because I'm like, hell, my kid goes to shows on Saturdays. It's way easier to sell kids. If you're trying to sell it to an audience as a family, it's easier to sell it to them, hey, come on Saturday night than Sunday night.
I kind of get that, but like in the same breath, Sunday is a calmer day than Saturday to some degree. People like to go out on Saturday more than they like to go out on Sundays.
Bullshit. People had to go out on Saturday nights than Sundays.
Yeah. So, like, talking as somebody that, works on a Saturday and don't work on a Sunday, it's easier for me to enjoy a PLE.
Like, as a person that gets all the weekends off and trying to find something to do with these damn kids, nigga. Prime example, I probably wouldn't have been able to take my son to WrestleMania in LA if it wasn't for the fact that it was on a Sunday night.
Well, I mean, WrestleMania is going to be obviously Saturday and Sunday because, WrestleMania. But after, I want to say SummerSlam, SummerSlam will be the last Saturday, PLE, and then the next one in September will be Sunday. If you believe Dana White.
I believe it when I see it.
All right. Well, going to the opposite end of the spectrum, that would be AEW. New injury. Chuck Taylor, shattered his ankle, and it is questioned if he will ever be able to return to the squared circle. I don't know if you know the severity of it or if this is the first time you're hearing about it, but what are your thoughts on that?
I hate when anyone has to have their career in jeopardy. So all I can say is I hope it's not worse than what it alleges is, and a speedy recovery to get back to the ring and do what he needs to do.
I agree. If this was maybe 10, 20 years ago, I would probably say, yeah, it's done for him. But there has been so many people with more severe injuries than what he currently has. And they were able to make full recoveries and continue their career. So I think just modern medicine has been great for pro wrestlers nowadays, and I think that they would be able to patch him up to a point where he would be able to get back in the ring. What the timetable for that would be, I have no idea. But, it took Daniel Bryan 7 years. Chuck E. T., who knows?
It took Edge about a hot minute, so yeah.
Yeah. It took CM Punk 9 years, and he wasn't even injured.
That was the pettiness in him.
Pettiness is an injury.
It can be.
They did say that they were looking to transition him to a agent role in AEW, so he has something to fall back on. I don't feel like I know Chuck Taylor well enough to really criticize if he would be a good agent or not. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's like trying to dictate if a person's gonna like if a first time coach is gonna be a good coach. You won't know until they do it.
I think that's a great way to look at it. Um, you know, he can he could be great at the job, or he could be the drizzling shits. But will Tony Khan notice any either way? Probably not. Um,
Damn.
Something that Tony probably didn't even know happened was the legal issues with Cash Wheeler. As we covered September of last year, Cash Wheeler went on a shooting spree in his car, shot up an orphanage and all that good shit. Um, and his court date finally came up recently, and the case has been dropped. So it's great that he could finally kind of get past those legal issues he had that weren't really warranted to begin with. There wasn't a lot of weight to what whoever was saying that he did. Um, I even speculated if it was the Young Bucks saying it at one point. Um, but Kaliko, Cash Wheeler getting out scot free.
I mean, he's the opposite of Diddy at this point.
I think everybody's the opposite of Diddy at this point.
Pretty much. He's gonna be the opposite of Diddy and Drake. So there you go.
Oh, and that brings us to AEW. Will be Arlington, Texas. Will be hosting um, 5 AEW events in a row. That kind of seems insane to me. Unless, they're not necessarily selling tickets, but, letting people in for free to watch the show, like in NXT. But how do you not burn out a crowd being in the same place 5 times consecutively?
I mean, it's let it be. We'll figure out how it goes. I mean, Arlington, Texas. It's if anybody knows it on the map, it's not that far from Dallas. So it's not like people from Dallas can't make the commute. So, but 5 days, I mean, shit, WrestleMania pushes their luck with and
No,
I think that at least they.
not 5 days in a row, 5 weeks in a row. So,
Oh shit.
so they're more or less coming back every single week to Arlington to do a show.
I mean, maybe Arlington's the new Chicago.
I know that they lost their good graces with Chicago, considering the whole CM Punk deal.
Exactly.
Yep. It just seems like another AEW mishap. I
mean, I wouldn't say a mishap. Just see where it goes.
I will say that the first show will do moderately well, and then each and every show will do decreasingly less until there are maybe 1,000, 2,000 people at the last show. And I'm being generous with 1,000, 2,000 people.
I mean, give them the benefit of the doubt. Depends on where they hold. They can do better than the XFL team that's there.
Anybody could do better than the XFL at this point.
That's my point.
Right.
So let them do. Let them see.
We shall see then. Alright, next week we'll be covering all things AEW Double or Nothing. Probably by the time we get to next week, there will be 15 more matches announced for the show. So, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to preview a show when we know that there's more matches going to be announced in the next couple of days.
True.
But, is there anything you'd like to bring to the table?
I'm trying to think because I was about to tip my hand, but okay, I'm gonna tip it anyway. FedEx giving away free tickets to AEW shows, not a good sign.
Which shows? Double or Nothing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a great sign.
Collision as well.
I mean, who's gonna go to Collision? You know, when the big show.
I didn't even know they were doing live format. I was like, holy shit. That tells you how bad I'm out of the loop. I was like, damn, they're doing live shows now? Collision? Like, shit.
Let me see if I could find what is the current ticket sales for AEW.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad. Maybe a person bought a couple seats and, you know, gave them away. That's what usually happens. So I can't say nothing.
I mean, yeah.
But if I get those tickets, just let you know, I might be in the building.
Depends. How good are the seats?
I won't know until I get them. Kind of like with the Janet Jackson Ludacris I'm trying to get.
I am looking for the AEW ticket sales, and I do not see them. Nope. June. Double or Nothing. Grand Arena, Las Vegas. Available tickets 1,027. Current setup is 7,067. Tickets distributed 6,040. So I mean they sold 6,000 tickets. So I mean out of 7,000. I'm not. Huh?
Maybe they're tempting me to go. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I believe that's like a 11,000 seat arena. Don't quote me on that.
Which one?
The MGM Grand.
Ooh. Are you talking about like where they hold the boxing events?
The Grand Garden Arena.
Ooh. I can't remember. If that's the one where they hold boxing, that's easily about. I feel like that could easily be 15 to 16,000.
Let's see. If okay. Capacity. With a 15,020 permanent seating, and with
That's what I thought.
with bleachers 17,000.
That's what I thought.
So.
I mean, I could look at a stadium and tell you how I'm like, yeah, it's about 15 to 17. Yeah, it's about 20, 25. Yeah, it's about 80 to 90.
Yeah, so 7,000 seats of a 17,000 seat arena. So there are literally leaving a 10,000 seats available.
Now, that depends on, well, this is just collision we're speaking of, right?
No, we are talking about double or nothing.
So that means that stage better be big as shit.
WWE is getting smaller sets while AEW needs larger sets.
But, I mean, WWE got the hottest ticket in town.
That it does.
Fuck.
Why? Well, if you know you're gonna go, that you're not going to sell these tickets, that your following is around 5 to 7,000 people. Why would you go into arenas where there's going to be major empty spaces?
Because it would look weird for them to do it at a college campus.
But they did do it at a college campus.
Where?
The one in San Diego you were at.
I mean, Aztec Arena, but Aztec Arena, compared to the Thomas and Mack, Aztec Arena is like SoFi Stadium. And that says a lot. Because Aztec Arena could fit about right around the same, 12 to 15,000. See, that's how I know. It's like, okay, about 12 to 15,000. Mac is a little bit smaller. MGM Grand is 15 to 17,000. They're doing like these, because they're probably doing like also those packages and shit, so it's easier for people to walk from their hotel room to their garden. You know what I'm saying? So convenience could play a factor. You're not going to get the T-Mobile Arena. You're damn sure you're not going to get Allegiant.
No.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much the only spot they were going to get.
I mean, isn't there... Yeah, I mean, they could have did it in, what's the name of it? Not... Okay. Hold on. Give me a minute. Sam's Town. That arena.
I don't think that's in Las Vegas.
Yeah. It's like a 500 seat hall that Ring of Honor used to run, and now TNA runs.
I'm done with you. Just go away.
My point being, why run arenas that has a higher capacity than you can offer? Why not go into something smaller that looks more aesthetically pleasing on TV to say, hey, we have 5,000 people in this small arena, but look, there's people literally all around the ring.
One, because they know that they have at least a ceiling. So or a floor. Let me see. They have a floor, so they know they won't go below this. So anything above that would be gravy, possibly. But then again, people enjoyed AEW. You just gotta let them enjoy it. I think AEW, and we've always been going over this, and this just seems like no one's gonna listen, but they just placate to a group of people that are just super anti-WWE.
Right. And they've never grown that audience.
Well, think about it. They signed two of WWE's biggest stars, and it didn't really move the needle, not a damn bit.
Are you referring to Edge and Mercedes?
Yeah.
Yeah. They signed Will Ospreay and Okada, the two biggest stars from New Japan, and that didn't move the needle.
Don't get me started. Because Tama Tonga was a mid-carder in New Japan, and he looks like a star compared to fucking Okada in AEW.
People have been saying that. They said, like, in the 2 weeks that Tama Tonga has been in WWE, they made him a bona fide star, and in his first match, he defeated Randy Orton, and Okada's been there for Okada's been in AEW for 2 months, and he's been a mid-carder the whole time.
Yeah. Funny how fortunes change, huh?
That it does. Well, and the bloodline is only going to get bigger. We already have Solo Sikoa leading Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu will be coming in at some point as well. Which is honestly just great storytelling, no?
Honestly, they might as well just bring half of fucking Knox Pro in that guy. They might as well bring everybody. They might as well bring half of Knox Pro up in that bitch. Because that's what it is.
They're not all a part of the bloodline.
That's why I said the half that are related. Which is 90% of them. Anyway.
It's interesting, like, the bloodline has changed so drastically in the last couple of months than what it was. And, obviously Jay is on Raw, Jimmy's injured. No person.
Jimmy's on a milk cart.
Yeah. And Solo's got the ball and he's running with it.
Hey. And you know what's funny? People kept yelling like, oh my God, how come he said losing's not an option and he went 0-38 in his house matches? And it's like, it's not about what you do at the house matches. It's what you do when you're on the TV, sir.
Who said losing's not an option?
Because when Solo was like, there's consequences to losing, and everybody pointed to his house show record, and I'm just looking at him like, you do know it doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't.
Until it's how they look when the cameras are on and the eyeballs are watching.
Exactly. And
no one gives a shit that he lost to WRESTLINGWITHE in Wichita, Kansas. They gave a shit that he beat John Cena. They saw him beat John Cena. So you can't sit there and say, oh, he ain't shit. But they saw this dude, like, pummel John Cena to a pole.
That's what I was going to say. They definitely saw him beat John Cena, but they definitely did not see him lose to LA Knight in Wichita.
Right.
And a bit of good news, a little bit of bad news. Kenny Omega announced that he will be getting surgery sooner rather than later. We all know that he's kind of been wanting to put it off, see if he could go without it. But it, ultimately he does have to get it. What it does, I don't know what the timetable is of the recovery on that, but he did seem like he was pretty sure that he would be making a return. What are your thoughts on Kenny Omega, going for the surgery and a potential timetable for a return?
I mean, I'm assuming this is the diverticulitis, right?
He wasn't specific, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, there's only one person you can compare it to, but unfortunately, it's a freak of nature, and that's Brock Lesnar.
Right. You can't really compare people to Brock Lesnar.
Because this guy almost, but then again, you can, because I think his timeline, it was like a year.
Really?
It was either a year or 6 months.
Well, I can't imagine that wasn't reduced significantly because he was Brock Lesnar.
I mean, but nigga, everybody bleed. Fuck all.
But when he says stop bleeding, his body stops bleeding because he's Brock Lesnar.
Okay. 7 months. So his was 7 months. So,
you're looking about around a year for Kenny Omega. Being nice, I'd say 10 months.
I mean, 7 months for Brock. About 9, maybe 8 or 9. But then again, Kenny's not a slouch athlete, so it could be a little bit in that range.
It's not that he's a slouch, but, he's not exactly a spring chicken anymore, and he has, other nagging injuries that aren't, internal.
I mean, Brock Lesnar was what? Yeah, that's what he was in his 40s. 30s?
He had to be in his 40s.
No.
He's in his 40s now. Yes, definitely. Didn't he return at like 35 into WWE?
Brock's 46.
Brock's 46. So 46, and that was... He came back when he was like, what, 36?
2011 when he had the diverticulitis. So 2012 was probably when he came back.
2011.
So 2011 when he had the surgery.
Oh. That's interesting. So 2011. So that was what? 13 years ago?
13 years ago, so 33?
Which is a lot younger.
Prime Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So you're comparing Brock Lesnar at literally the peak of his physical specimenism to a much older Kenny Omega. Past his prime.
I'm just adding plus or minus a month or two.
There was a lot of math done in this episode.
Hey, math makes the world go round.
Not if you're dyslexic.
Shh. Even dyslexic people got a bank account.
This is true. Alright. I believe that will conclude this episode. Like I said earlier, we will be covering all things AEW Double or Nothing next week, and anything else that happens in the world of pro wrestling. Actually, no, there is one more thing that we can talk about before we get out of here, and that
Lucha Vavoom?
no, it's LA. It's LA Knight. Last week on SmackDown, he was supposed to wrestle Santa Escobar, and the match was scrapped and put on a live show, which caused people to start using the hashtag WeWantLAKnight. Reminiscent to, the We Want Cody movement. But it did die down like in a day or two. Are they misusing LA Knight, or are they was it maybe a tactic on their part to cause outrage with the fans to see if they actually cared about LA Knight as much as we see on
They claim to be, as they claim to.
Exactly.
It could be both, but then again, LA Knight went on Twitter and was like, I kind of like doing the house shows because you get more fun and more interaction with the audience. So that kind of helps solidify that point. So either he was politically correct and genuine, or just not trying to rock the boat.
I mean, sure, but if you're a official of WWE, we talked about, Tiffany Straton, not necessarily being in bad favor with anybody. LA Knight being so over with fans. How are you viewing that if you're an official of WWE?
Let them stick with being on the camera, because the simple fact is, my problem with it is everybody thinks everybody deserves a title run.
Right.
And the problem is only so many people could be at the top, my guy. Like, there's only one mountain for a reason.
Right. Well, I mean, two mountains.
So, well, one mountain in the sense that as much as Damien's a champion, the face of the company is Cody.
Correct.
So, there's only one king of the mountain for a reason. So, I mean, if LA Knight is hot, he's getting his burn, the people are buying his merch, and he's good. Don't fuck it up for him with y'all bullshit. That's all it is. Don't fuck it up.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. You're saying, not a WWE championship run, but I mean, a King of the Ring win wouldn't necessarily suck, no?
I think Gunther's winning King of the Ring, and for the record, and I think LA Knight is in the running for Money in the Bank.
But how do you...
For sure. But King of the Ring, it's Gunther.
Well, I mean, let's say LA Knight does win Money in the Bank. You can't have him cash in on Cody, right?
You cash in on Priest.
I think...
Or, from what I heard is, then Balor win Money in the Bank. And that would just be some trouble, bro.
Ooh. That would be interesting. Actually, King of the Ring...
See, and this is...
Yeah.
You say what?
No, continue.
No, I think that would be interesting.
That would be interesting if I'm being honest. Well, I mean, it is next Saturday. So
What, King of the Ring?
yeah, we have
Yeah, so King of the Ring. I think King of the Ring would be a thing where either they're trying to. I mean, back in the day, they used to use it to get a title shot. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing with it now. But
Well, let's put this on the shelf for one moment. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors, and we will review King and Queen of the Ring after we come back.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.